Hey guys, what is up? It's Reaper Jinkai here, and I am here with...
Hey guys, it's Radiant Ruby once again.
And we are back for another Reaper and Ruby podcast. Just to get out of the way, fuck! Okay, now we're demonetized. And we're good.
Hey, Lamau.
So, now that that's out of the way, I gave him no heads up I was doing that.
As if we were gonna get monetized anyway.
True, but just in case.
I mean, hey, we just bit the bullet there. Now we can say fuck however many times we want.
So, we haven't done a podcast in a while. What was the last one we did? Pokemon... Dude, no, I never uploaded that, so I think it was Flygon.
Yeah, it was Flygon. It was either Flygon or the best type.
Yeah, one of the two. So, this time we're back to talk about something we both thoroughly enjoy, D&D/Pathfinder.
I'm still pissed off you never uploaded that, by the way.
You're welcome. So...
And no, we're not going to tell you guys what it was.
But
we're gonna leave you...
in the dark.
Aggravatingly ignorant.
So, we're going to be talking about alignments, which I'm more familiar with D&D, and Ruby's more familiar with Pathfinder. Although at this point, we've played enough of both. They work practically the same.
They pretty much are the same, aside from, like, a few differences.
Yeah.
That are kind of key.
But something that's shared between the two of them, if you haven't guessed by the title of the video yet, is alignments. So, we're just going to take turns picking an alignment, and we're going to talk about ways that we like to see it done, don't like seeing it done, and what we think is the best way to pull off that alignment. And then at the end, just for an extra bonus, we're going to be talking about DMing and good and bad things in our experience that we have seen for both. So, I'm going to pick the first alignment, and I think I want to start with the most complicated one, because there's so many different ways that it's played, and so few are good. Ironically, lawful good.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, I always say, which we talked a little bit about this before we started the podcast,
and we sometimes just talk about it normally.
Yeah. I always say lawful good is played 3 ways, which is 50% of the time lawful killjoy, 49% of the time lawful stupid, and 1% of the time it's played lawful good.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, which of the 3 would you like to tackle first?
Let's tackle lawful stupid first.
Okay. So, I picked this one, so I'll start with what I think lawful stupid is. Lawful stupid, in my opinion, is basically where, for X or Y reason, normally a stupid reason, a village or a group wants to kill said lawful good character or something of the like, and the lawful good character will be like, well, that's their laws, I guess I have to die.
Right.
Or that's their laws, I guess the party has to die.
Yeah. Pretty stupid.
So, to me, that is awful. Fucking hate it.
Yeah.
What is lawful stupid in your eyes, or a different example of lawful stupid?
My problem is that I don't have a decent example of lawful stupid, because 90% of the players that I have played with in the time I have played D&D, aside from me, because I am the only one who would ever play lawful good. Because I actually like paladins.
Well,
They would never play lawful good. It was either at minimum chaotic good.
well, I think.
But like with lawful stupid, it's kind of the same thing for you to where, oh, these are the laws, I guess we all have to die, or these are the laws, guess we have to rot in jail for 20 years.
Okay. I get that because we play a lot together, and I never play lawful good.
Yeah, because, like, in all honesty, lawful good isn't fun.
To us.
Yeah.
I'm sure someone out there enjoys lawful good. To me, it's boring. But
it gets fun when you play a paladin that doesn't talk.
Lawful Killjoy.
Lawful Killjoy is a hate.
Yeah.
Like, he was. I think he was lawful. I don't remember, but he was another friend in my old Pathfinder group, the first one. We'll just call him Zov because that was his character, one of his characters' names. I believe Zov was lawful. He was either lawful neutral or lawful good. I don't remember, but he was lawful Killjoy because he always had to do things a certain way, and it got annoying.
So
and then he proceeded to get disintegrated by a beholder 3 times in one fight. That was funny as shit.
So,
if you're somehow watching this, lol.
So, lawful Killjoy to me, in the examples that I've seen it used, which I would think, from what it sounds, obviously you didn't give any precise examples.
Right.
But, I find the way I've experienced it to be more irritating.
Yeah, more than likely.
Because this is the lawful Killjoy I've experienced. Lawful Killjoy Paladin goes to town to shop. Rogue or insert chaotic character here decided to talk to somebody else in the party and say they were going to go do something illegal or kill somebody, X or Y thing, chaotic shit.
What rogues would do, or chaotic character.
And then lawful Killjoy, who was not there for the conversation, has no idea what they're doing. The player then decides that their character is going to stalk them. Because the player knows what they're trying to do, so he's using his character to cock block their plans. And that pisses me off.
Yeah, that's pretty stupid.
Your character has no right to know what they're planning to do. Player knowledge and character knowledge are 2 completely different things. For example, I know trolls regenerate every turn unless they're hit by fire or acid.
Mm-hmm.
My 5 intelligent beat stick barbarian does not.
Yeah.
And that ruins the experience to me. Even if I'm not part of the group that's planning shit, that ruins the experience for me because it's like, okay, we're just gonna metagame and fuck over other people's plans. Let me go burn down the church that your paladin worships.
Yeah, it's pretty bullshit.
Now that being said, I will say I have no problem if, after they've gone and done their shit, when your character legitimately finds out, I have no problem if your lawful good character decides to chew them out or turn them in.
Yeah.
Like,
you know, what a lawful good character would do.
that I'm okay with. Lawful killjoy to me is when the player is going out of their way to ruin other people's experiences.
Yeah.
So then that just leaves lawful good, which I think lawful good is literally what we just talked about.
Yeah.
Play your character how you think they would act in that situation, but don't metagame. And lawful good to one character is not the same as lawful good to another character. The best example I can give, I was playing a D&D group that we had some people from Australia, some from Texas. I was the only one in Minnesota, and we were all playing over Discord. One of the players decided to be a lawful good ranger, but the laws that they chose to follow were the circle of life. So they believed that the strong prey upon the weak.
Fair.
And that was the laws that they followed. So they fit in incredibly well, even though they were lawful good with our primarily evil / chaotic group.
Yeah.
The amount of times I had to listen to lawful good character turn and look at me as a DM and go, "Is this enemy edible?" Like, we're fighting wood golems. Is it edible, though?
I would hope not.
I told him if he tried hard enough, maybe.
Like, yeah, like, you can eat wood golems, but it's not advised.
Okay, but I think that's all we're going to talk about for lawful good. Ruby, what's the next alignment we're going to talk about?
Let's go to the opposite end of the spectrum. Let's talk about chaotic evil.
Ooh. So,
this is where I have experience.
So, how many different forms of chaotic evil do you think are played?
Chaotic stupid.
Of course.
There's always the chaotic stupid.
I think that's the biggest one.
There's the step above, chaotic retard.
Okay.
We're already demonetized. It doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
And then there's just the true chaotic evil. There's just three. There's three from what I know.
Okay. I don't see. I never.
I personally haven't experienced any chaotic killjoys.
No, chaotic killjoy doesn't really exist because they never really give a fuck what the other party members are doing.
Yeah,
they're
chaotic.
I suppose chaotic stupid is kind of chaotic killjoy.
It could be seen as chaotic killjoy, but it depends on what kind of chaotic stupid.
So, you pick this one. Pick one to start with.
Let's go with chaotic retard.
Okay. So you start, because you set the bar. Because I don't think I've experienced something that high. Chaotic. I've always said there's chaotic evil and chaotic stupid.
There is one person that I have experienced that is chaotic retard. I won't name him, but you know who it is. I've talked about him quite a bit, and I despise him with every fiber of my being.
Worked at Burger King?
Worked at Burger King, worked at Arby's.
Okay, I know exactly who we're talking about. Continue.
Yep. He would like to play chaotic evil characters, or at the very least, chaotic characters. And you know what? That's fine. Whatever. I don't care.
I mean, everybody has their stick.
Yeah,
like,
play what you want.
How many characters have I played that aren't lawful evil?
Maybe 2.
Yeah, I like lawful evil.
Lawful evil is just a good
It's
thing.
fun to RP.
Yeah, I like to play chaotic neutral or neutral evil.
Yeah. But anyways, continue.
Anyway, about chaotic retard. It goes in the same length as lawful killjoy. He liked to metagame.
Yeah, yeah. I haven't experienced that, but I can see how that's a step above.
But he didn't use his metagame knowledge to fuck over. He didn't intentionally do it to fuck over everybody else. But that's what happened. He used his metagame knowledge to benefit him. Like there were some. The most notable one was the first Odyssey, to where he made something real that ended up making it to where I had to reset the entire campaign because we literally wouldn't be able to win, because he made magic real. Specifically, he made Theros, which had gods, which specifically had the god of the underworld and the god of passage.
I'm assuming you're talking about Magic the Gathering.
Yeah, Magic the Gathering. The god of the underworld, not a super big deal, but he's there. It's a bit of a problem. The god of passage was the main problem. For all of you that know about Magic the Gathering, I'm talking about Athreos. In our first Odyssey, players, as they were called, didn't have souls. So we didn't go to Athreos if we ever died. And he didn't like that. But Chaotic Retard, being who he was, didn't see it that way. He just wanted the cool shit.
So, from what I'm gathering, this is different than what, like, we do in our Odyssey, to where we make a world that has really cool stuff. But we make that world because, as, like, players, we love that world. Like,
yeah.
I made Naruto real because I love Naruto.
Yeah.
And you make Ruby real because you love Ruby.
Yeah. And, like, back then, we all loved Magic. The problem was that after we made Magic real, after he made Magic real, my DM and I realized, hey, Athreos is going to be a problem because we literally can't deal with that. He is a god. And then it got so bad that my character had to reset the world because he was the only one that really could.
For those of you confused about Odyssey and you haven't seen a previous video to where we talk about it, it's basically a campaign to where you are thrown into a multiverse that you get to choose what the other universes are by sacrificing a form of fiction to it. So, for example, I wanted Naruto real in our most recent one. We traveled to Earth because that's always one of, like, our Earth. That's always a multiverse that exists, so you can get these fiction to create more shit.
Yep.
I sacrificed the Naruto manga so that we could travel to the Naruto universe. So I'm assuming he bought a pack of cards or stole a pack of cards.
He did something. I don't super remember.
And
it was either like a pack of cards or one one of the many things of merchandise they have.
Yeah, but the biggest catch to the Odyssey is it's not just a run around forever encounter. There is an end boss. And the end boss gets every ability that every player has learned and probably stronger.
Oh, guaranteed. Guaranteed stronger.
Yeah, so creating something
stupid, like, say, Magic the Gathering, for example, bit of a mistake.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure I got it confirmed with my DM that Athreos was going to be the final boss. Because it just made sense.
And you just couldn't deal with them.
Yeah. Another example for chaotic retard. This was during one of our very few Naruto campaigns. I might have told you about this one, but just in case. So, for all of you D&D and Pathfinder veterans, this is a story about the deck of many things.
Such a fun deck.
It's such a fun deck, especially when you become part of that deck, in a way. So, Chaotic Retard found the deck of many things and decided, hey, I'm going to draw a card from the deck. And so he draws a card, and he gets the card that says, one of your friends now hates you with every fight. Now hates you. And our DM decided that friend was going to be me. So my character had access to the 8 gates.
Yeah, you told me this.
Yeah. My character opened the 4th gate, pulled out their weapon, which was a falchion, and ran towards the chaotic retard with the falchion extended and sliced off his head. And I was going so fast that the moment I sliced off his head, it immediately cauterized the wound. And also breaking my falchion. That was pretty fun. But then our DM got it fixed and actually added a little bit of extra reach to it. So that was cool. And Chaotic Retard and the DM were like, Jesus, dude, we didn't think you were going to go that far. And I was like, I go hard.
So he died.
Oh, yeah, no, he died. He died. Oh, that was great.
Oh, okay.
And I think he got resurrected, or he made a new character. I don't super remember. We didn't get very far with that one, honestly.
Okay, so we're going to move on. We
Yeah.
spent quite a bit on that. I don't have an example of that level.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I'm going to just go to Chaotic Stupid. Actually, I'll just cover the remaining 2 real quick. I'm okay with Chaotic Evil when it's like, hey, I'm going to kill this NPC because they're no longer useful and they don't entertain my character anymore.
Yeah.
Dead.
Emerald does it Chaotic Evil well.
Yeah. What I don't like about Chaotic Evil, or when it becomes Chaotic Stupid, is, hey, this NPC is offering us money, a place to stay, and loot. Let's kill him now. That's Chaotic Stupid in a nutshell.
Yeah. Let's kill him because why not?
So, that's lawful good, chaotic evil. As long as we're doing the extremes, let's go to the fun one that's gonna be talk about. True neutral.
Oh yeah, true neutral. True
No.
neutral is fun.
I personally think a lot of people play true neutral wrong.
Yeah.
I think
most people play most people just play all of the neutrals wrong.
I think people see true neutral and they think, oh, this is an alignment that I can do whatever I want. And that's not what true neutral is, to me at least. If your DM deems it that way, keep playing that way.
Yeah.
But none of the other alignments work like that. Why would true neutral, in my opinion?
Right.
So, I think true neutral can be a lot of fun to play, but in most cases is incredibly hard.
Mm.
Because I feel like true neutral is definitely about balance. Like, not necessarily perfect balance to where for every good action you do, you have to do a bad action. I don't think it has to be, like, perfectly balanced. But for the most part, you kind of swing both ways when it comes to deciding what to do.
Yeah.
So the reason why I think it's so hard, and we can use Neris as an example,
Yeah.
is so Ruby has a character named Neris. When he originally built Neris, he wanted her to be true neutral.
Yep. It was either true neutral or neutral good. One of the two. She was neutral.
And the problem became Neris was traveling with my character Axel, who was lawful evil. Surprise.
And our DM's character, Emerald.
Or Vesix.
Yeah, Vesix, who was, I believe, he was either neutral or chaotic evil.
He was either chaotic neutral. I think he was chaotic neutral.
I want to say he was evil. I don't super remember.
But regardless, you had two characters that, for the three of us to travel together peacefully,
Yeah.
true neutral wasn't gonna work.
Not too well, no.
I mean, you could have made it work, but it would have been really hard. There would have been a lot of times you had to split off from the party to go do good things to keep that balance.
Yeah. Which, I mean, to be fair, I kind of did a couple times.
Yeah.
But if we ever talk about that, it'll be a different video.
Yeah, that is a long campaign that's still going.
Yeah.
We could make a podcast about that, and I think that would be fun.
Yeah, that'd be hella fun. We should try to get Emerald in on it, though.
Yeah. But so I think Ruby handled it the best way possible and just added the true neutral to his backstory.
Yeah.
So Neris
started as true neutral, and then as she was traveling with Axel and Vesix, she just kind of started drifting more towards chaotic neutral.
Yeah, and that's now where she sits.
Yep.
And it fits her very well, because I can see with your character you have very serious moments, but Neris at her core is like a child's whimsy.
Pretty much. That is kind of like how I like to play a lot of my characters. Like, if I'm playing chaotic neutral, I play it like that, to where, yeah, they can get serious if they need to, but otherwise, they're just going to do their own thing.
And I think something I never shared with you is Axel sees Neris like a little sister.
That makes sense.
And
because I think canonically Axel is older than her anyway.
Yeah.
Neris is 21, I think I made her.
Yeah, I think, well, then definitely, because Axel's a drow.
That's fair. Axel's minimum age is about 100.
I think I made him like 125.
Right.
So
making him effectively 25.
Yeah. But, Axel sees Neris as like a little sister, and definitely early game, it showed a lot.
Yeah.
Especially with the temple.
Yeah.
So, early in our campaign, we were sent to an excluded island to where this temple was being attacked by bandits. And when we got in there, Neris who is a Suli, noticed that a bunch of her people's artifacts were on display there.
Needless to say, Neris was not happy about it.
And after we left, Axel kind of pulled her aside and was like, "Hey, what's up? You're acting weird."
Right.
And she was like, "I don't like that temple. I want my family's artifacts."
Yeah.
And the evil side of Axel came out, and he goes, "I promise you, by the end of this adventure, I will get you your artifacts."
And we did.
Yeah.
Neris still has one of those artifacts. She has an amulet that just increases her damage to stupid heights.
Yeah, and even though Axel doesn't use them anymore, he Neris gave him gauntlets that gave him minor elemental control.
I think so.
It was either minor or I can control it just like a Sully would.
Right. I think it was a thing that allowed you to use fire whenever you wanted.
I know it's more elements than that.
Right. You just used it for fire because cigarettes.
Yeah, my character smokes, so I was like, okay, I'll... Plus, I had a rapier that could be charged up with fire damage for more damage.
Yeah.
So it just kind of paired well. And then, but now, since it's an Odyssey, now I have so much shit that's more broken.
Yeah.
That I just use it as an RP tool whenever I smoke.
Yeah.
We got off topic.
A little bit.
But, the biggest problem just to wrap up True Neutral, I figured we would rant about Neris if I brought this one up. But
yeah.
Neris is a good character. I like her.
I love Neris. She's one of my favorite characters.
I think the biggest problem with True Neutral is unless you want to just put in a lot of work if you care about alignments.
Right.
The only time it's really easy to play is if you have a party that's split alignment-wise, or you're all playing True Neutral this way.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just difficult, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Okay, but let's speed this up a little bit. Next one.
Let's go with Chaotic Good.
Chaotic Good.
A little quick thing about Chaotic Good. Fun fact, when I originally made Tenma, she was Chaotic Good.
She's not now.
No, God no. Like, once we ended that campaign that Tenma was in, she switched to Chaotic Neutral.
And now she's like Chaotic Evil.
Tenma's just her own alignment. Tenma is Tenma.
Yeah, but Chaotic Good, I always see as like the frat boy alignment.
Yeah.
Like, you're never intentionally trying to hurt anybody. You're just trying to have a good time.
Yeah. And, like, if people get hurt, I mean, hey, they're not dead.
They're not dead, and you normally feel bad enough that you're trying to help.
Yeah.
Sometimes you make it worse. Sometimes you fix their problem.
Yeah. The way I see Chaotic Good, it is betterment for the party.
Yeah. And
damn whatever comes after.
I've never really seen this one played wrong.
You really can't, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, it's really hard to do Chaotic Good wrong.
The only time, a lot of these, the only time you'll see it played wrong is if you say you're one alignment and then you start playing like it's a completely different alignment.
Right.
Like, if you're playing Lawful Good, but the whole campaign you're playing like Chaotic Evil.
Yeah.
Like, so I don't think there's too much more to talk about that.
Not really. Like Chaotic Good is just kind of, like you said, it's the frat boy alignment.
Yeah. Neutral Evil.
Neutral Evil. I don't mind Neutral Evil. Like,
it's kind
of the evil alignments, it's the one I have the most fun playing.
To me, I guess I don't play a lot of, like, I don't play True Neutral, Neutral Evil, or Neutral Good.
Yeah, you don't really like a lot of those neutrals.
I don't play a lot of Neutral because to me, Neutral feels a little bit bland.
Which is fair.
And I mean,
because I mean, they kind of are.
If you can play Neutral and you thoroughly enjoy it, more power to you. I just can't. Yeah. Neutral feels, and maybe it's because when I was introduced to it, it was introduced as a cop-out.
Yeah?
Yeah, like, when I was very first introduced to alignments, like, anything neutral was you can kind of do whatever you want with no consequences.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from.
And I was like, well, where's the fun in that? I'm creating a character with a unique personality, and I'm making the equivalent to a bipolar sociopath?
Or anime protagonist.
Yeah, it's... So...
Where it's just like, oh hey, I blew up a city, but I have plot armor.
yeah, so neutral evil, I don't see often at all.
Yeah.
If I see evil, it's either chaotic or it's me playing lawful.
Yeah. I like neutral evil because the way I see neutral evil, it's if nobody sees me do it, I can get away with it.
Yeah.
And like that's just kind of how I run my life. Like if you don't see me do it, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah. And then neutral good, I feel like, is the opposite of that.
Yeah.
To where it's
like,
I don't care if somebody sees me do it or not. I'm just doing a good deed to do a good deed.
Yeah.
And I guess that's where that little bit of bland now comes from. Because now that I have a lot more experience, I know neutral can be diverse and it can do a lot.
Oh, yeah.
But, generically, those are how those feel.
Yeah. I personally just don't like playing good. Like, with lawful good, I'll play paladins. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
But the only paladin that I've actually made that has been lawful good, that I actually played more than once, was a paladin named Vinyl, who, funnily enough, was a Suli. Vinyl is actually the reason why I like Sulis as much as I do. Because Vinyl was a divine hunter paladin. She was a ranged paladin. She had answers for if somebody got close to her, but they would have to get close to her first. Because she was an expert marksman. She had a bow, she had a gun, she had like 3 bows.
Yeah.
3 bows, 2 guns. She ended up getting a wand that basically fired base cannons. It was appropriately named the Wub Wub Wand.
Appropriate.
Yeah.
Just gonna throw this out there. I probably should have mentioned this a little bit earlier. Fun fact about my D&D experience. First character I played was true neutral against my will.
Really?
So the first real character I played was such a cool site. It was like an online server of D&D.
I think I remember this.
To where you could make your own character and you run through and you meet other people who are playing online. And it was a small enough server that there was only 20 to 30 players. So the world felt empty-ish. But it kind of worked out because obviously it was a small team working on it. So there wasn't a lot of houses. There wasn't a lot you could do.
Yeah.
So for the 20 to 30 players, there was plenty of houses you could choose and purchase. And I actually wanted to play chaotic neutral for my very first character.
Right.
But the site had a problem in the past where people were just joining in, making evil and chaotic characters and player killing. Which was never my intention. I didn't want to player kill.
Yeah, no, player killing is boring.
Yeah.
Player killing is boring unless it's for story.
Yeah. Or there was an arena you could do it and nobody could lose a life.
Yeah.
Because they had death saving throws, and if you... I think they gave you 5. So if you fully died and you had to resurrect, you would do a death saving throw. And if you succeeded, whatever. You came back, no skin off your back. But if you failed, that took away one of your 5 chances.
Mm.
And if you died enough that you ran out of chances, that character is permadead.
Mm.
Like, it's just deleted from the server, you have to restart.
Damn. Pretty crazy.
To be fair, though, they did do a thing to where the lower level you were, so like if you died at level 1,
yeah,
you had a 99% chance of passing.
That makes sense.
And then as you leveled up, it got lower and lower.
Yeah.
And I think at max level it was a 50-50.
That's fair.
So at the end of the day, it still wasn't that bad. It was there for fun. But it was like an RP server, and it really spoiled me. It's why I can't play Neverwinter Online.
Yeah.
Because I was introduced to the genre with, like, our characters actually sitting around a campfire RPing and just having a good time, compared to going to Neverwinter Online, to where even on the RP servers, it's, hey, I want the drop from this quest. Can anyone help me? Anyways, so that covered neutral good, neutral evil.
We've covered all the goods. We've covered neutral good, true neutral, neutral evil, lawful evil, I think? No. We haven't done lawful evil yet.
We haven't done lawful neutral, chaotic neutral, and lawful evil.
I mean, we've kind of done chaotic neutral, but at the same time.
Yeah, we'll just knock that out right now. It's like a child's whimsy.
Yeah. It's easy to explain, because, like, the easiest way to explain chaotic neutral is just do what your character would do.
Yeah.
Obviously, don't just run around killing everything, because that's chaotic evil.
Yeah.
Evil is just murdering. If you need to kill as a chaotic neutral, just make sure there's a reason for it.
Yeah.
It's like that's how I view chaotic neutral. They do whatever within reason.
Yeah. And then lawful neutral is,
they follow the laws, but they don't adhere to all of them.
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing, but in the opposite spectrum, to where the laws are there, you respect the laws, but you still kind of do your own thing.
Yeah.
And then I think that just leaves lawful evil.
Yeah.
Which is my favorite.
Yeah. The easiest way to explain lawful evil, they're lawyers.
Yes. So, as I said earlier, Axel, probably my favorite character I made to date. I love how I play him.
Yeah, he's super fun.
I love the family aspect. He is a lawful evil drow rogue. Favorite class is rogue.
Because rogue is just a good class.
Favorite race is probably drow.
I do like drow.
Like, when I was first introduced to drow, I got obsessed with them. And I actually found an online lore book of drow and read the whole thing for fun. And I loved every moment of it.
Nice.
This is a Pathfinder setting, so he's actually a noble drow.
Yeah.
Which is a little bit different. They're a little bit stronger.
They're quite a bit stronger.
Yeah. But
like, yeah.
In the Odyssey,
in the Odyssey, it doesn't super matter.
It didn't mean much. So how I built him, because he's lawful evil, and which is how I play most of my rogues. And like we said, it's basically a lawyer. My 2 highest stats are dexterity and charisma. The mentality of it is, If I'm getting into something that I'm not supposed to be doing, I'm going to stealth my way in there and do it.
Yeah.
And if I get caught, I'll talk my way out. And again, especially early in the Odyssey campaign.
Oh yeah, no, you talked your way out of some bullshit.
and the DM like loved it and hated it.
Yeah.
He
wasn't super used to just you talking your way out of things, because he had to deal with me to where I would talk my way out of things, but I would also figure out a way to bend over it.
Yeah. He kind of explained early on he's used to players punching their way out.
Chaotic retard.
And just kind of taking the most direct path. Since this character was a lawyer alignment, I made him very logical as well, so he had a pretty high intelligence stat.
Yeah.
So like the first encounter he really saw me, like the two earliest encounters I can remember. The less impressive one was we were in a cave and we had snuck in there. Trying to rescue somebody for a town.
Yeah. It was like a farmer's daughter, I think.
Yeah, and she's gonna be sacrificed to God, and blah blah. Big plot point for level 2. Level 1.
Yeah. We were level 1.
Yeah, big plot point for level 1. And I think everybody at level 1 is more cautious.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's like, a stiff breeze can kill me, like.
Yeah. And, like, for my first character, we started, like, level 7. I was super cautious because, to be fair, it was my first time in D&D at all.
You're like, they started me at level 7, this is gonna be hard.
Yeah, this is gonna be tough. And, unfortunately, when I originally made Tenma, I had the help of a min-maxer. So, Tenma's strength was god-awful. So I did next to no damage. And this was before Unchained Rogue. This was well before Unchained Rogue.
Unchained Rogue makes it so much better.
Unchained Rogue is so good. Anyway, we're getting off topic.
But so, we get into this cave, and Vesix, the third member of our party, was a Trox, which, think giant cockroach. And
giant cockroach with 4 big arms and then like 6 teeny tiny arms on his abdomen.
Yeah. So Trox get burrowing speed, and we didn't want to get caught. There were guards coming. The Trox burrowed underground. Neris was a Suli and can control the elements, so she just leaned up against the wall and blended in with the wall using earth.
Yep.
And then here's a little Axel standing in the middle, and I'm like, are there any stalagmites hanging from the ceiling?
And Emerald was just like, yeah.
Sure. Is there one big enough that I could hold on to? And he goes, yeah. So I get up there, and I use my dex to get up to the roof, and I'm holding on to this stalagmite. And they get right underneath me. I take out my rapier, and I crack this thing down on top of them. And I'll do a reflex to backflip off of it so I don't land on them.
Right. What up?
Video. And it lands on them, and that's how we took out our first guards in this big boss encounter.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Later, he was trying to party wipe us with a fireball spell on a door, and on a whim, because again, we were cautious, I was just like, I'm going to use the Unchained Rogue search for traps, which also lets you see magical traps, and found the fireball spell.
Yeah.
The boss was going to come and wipe us. I had the Trox as this wizard was going to go disarm the spell, whip a table through the door to set off the fireball spell.
Yeah.
And that's how we beat the boss.
Yeah. That was insane. Also, a little fun fact about that fight. The Trox actually ended up going into a frenzy. And back then, when the Trox went into a frenzy, it was a big problem.
Yeah.
Because...
he could one-shot us all.
Yeah. Because when he went into a frenzy, he couldn't tell friend from foe.
Was that the one that I pommeled him in the back of the head?
I think that was the one where I gut punched him.
There's one.
There was one where you pommeled him in the head, and then there was another where I gut punched him. I think I gut punched him first.
I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
I know mine was earlier level because once we got a little bit higher level, I didn't have the damage to knock him to 0.
No.
But so that led to some other things. He tried to force us into getting another party member. By sending 3 trolls to attack the town. I poisoned and killed 2 of the trolls, and it was 3 of us versus 1. But the most impressive one, in my opinion, we moved on from that town. We're now like level 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And we're going to this next town to join a guild to make more money, because that was like our big thing at that point. We needed money.
Yeah. We needed money so that we could actually get shit. This was before it become an Odyssey.
And we get to this town, and there's demons attacking the town.
Yeah.
And like it was to the point to where there was like the fountains, the water was replaced with blood, fire everywhere and shit like that. So we run in to help, and there's like a corrupted Houndarkin leading them.
I think so.
I know it was a Houndarkin. I don't remember if it was corrupted or not.
I want to say it was corrupted. I don't super remember that part very well, to be honest.
It was so long ago. I only remember this because I remember Emerald's reaction to how I handled it.
Yeah.
So Neris and Vesix are handling the smaller things that are flying at us, swatting them out of the sky like they're nothing. And somehow I got for probably about 7 rounds of combat, got left alone with a Houndarkin. The rogue.
Yeah.
And immediately the rogue's biggest talents weren't going to work up against a half dog.
Yeah.
So the very first thing I did as soon as I realized somebody's not going to be able to get to me in time, because I think this is when I pommeled Vesix.
It might have been.
Because there were so many enemies, I think he got hit, so I couldn't reliably have him come and help.
Yeah.
And you were swarmed, and you couldn't clear them out quick enough to come and help.
Yeah, because I would take one out, and like 2 more would pop up. Or another one would just replace it.
So what I did was I took my rapier, and I think I had to roll a ranged attack. Because what I did was I whipped the rapier through the blood in the fountain next to me to splash it clean across his face and across his nose, blinding him, filling his nose with the scent of blood, and in the same action I dived into the fountain.
Nice.
To completely mask my scent. And then it was just... It was like the Houndarkin was playing whack-a-mole while blindfolded. As on every turn, I would pop out of the fountain, stab him, dive back under the water, the blood, move a bit.
Right. And
then it was Houndarkin trying to hit me with like neg 10 to hit.
Yeah, it was insane.
And I ended up getting it super low. The Trox couldn't find me when he finally made his way over. So instantly the Frenzy went to the Houndarkin. He finished it off. And he was super low because Frenzy lowers your AC stupidly.
Yeah.
And then I just popped out of the fountain, pommeled him in the back of the head, and he was passed out. Crisis averted.
Yeah, thank God.
I remember why I was over there. I just remembered why I was put up against the Houndarkin.
Yeah?
There was cultists around the fountain, and I went to go stop them from their ritual.
Oh, yeah.
Because I was the only one with the movement, and I had an opening to go do it.
Yeah, because, like, Vesix and I immediately got swarmed.
Yeah, you two got swarmed. I think I was behind you two, and I leaped over the enemies off of Vesic's back and immediately went for the cultists.
That sounds about right.
And then the Houndarkin came busting through and started attacking. It wasn't corrupted. It attacked me because I'm a fucking drow.
That's true. Yeah, I probably thought you had something to do with it.
Yeah, I fucked up the ritual and they accidentally called a Houndarkin. And it attacked me because I'm a drow.
Yeah.
So, but then there were cases to where I stalled for time using my charisma.
Yeah, that was fun.
I convinced people we weren't in the wrong using my charisma. And in between your guys' strength and Axel's dex and charisma, early campaign was pretty smooth sailing because anything that we came across, we had something to deal with.
Yeah.
And then we picked up Gina, and it was like, now we got magic.
Yeah.
So
we had reliable magic anyway.
Yeah.
Because, like, you had a small amount of magic. I had a small amount of magic.
I had cast darkness.
Yeah. That's why I said a small amount of magic.
That was it. But with that, this has been going on almost an hour.
Yeah.
Oh fuck, we still have one more thing to talk about.
Lawful neutral.
Nope.
Not really.
Talked about that.
That's true.
Final thing I want to talk about.
What's that?
DMing.
Oh, yeah.
The goods, the bads, and the meh.
Right.
So, I'm gonna get bad out of the way real quick. If you are DMing and you are creating a campaign that either A, singles out a player to make it incredibly difficult for them, or B, singles out a specific class and makes it incredibly difficult for them, you are a bad DM.
Yeah.
I am fine with difficult campaigns. Difficult campaigns can be fun if it is equally difficult for the whole party.
Yeah.
And I've only experienced this once, and it was probably about... God, how long has it been since I went to that campaign? Like,
funnily enough, I think it's only been about a year and a half.
Yeah, it's been about a year and a half, so it's fairly recent.
Yeah.
And Ruby had to listen to me because the DM we were playing with, I was playing a rogue. Forced or removed flanking for giving sneak attack. Whenever I did get a sneak attack, no matter what the enemy was doing, they would magically turn around and immediately be facing me. Doesn't matter if they're locked in combat with somebody else. The person they were locked in combat didn't get an attack of opportunity. And then every room, no matter what the intelligence of the enemies, we were fighting things with like cannonly an intelligence of 2. They would be in a formation to where they could see every inch of the room, There's nothing good in the room other than them. But they were in a formation to where they could see every inch of the room. Didn't know we were coming. Didn't know we were there. Just so I could not stealth to get a sneak attack.
Yeah, that's bad. That sucks ass.
And after probably about the 6th session in a row, to where I'm jumping through hoops to contribute to the fight, I quit going. Like,
yeah, there's no reason to go if you can't do anything.
The DM's probably best friend that was playing a ranger who, like, got his dick sucked. No enemies would ever try and get close to the ranger. At level 3, the DM let the ranger take 4 attacks per round. Gave him broken magical abilities that made each arrow like a single target nuke. Like anything he hit would just die. And then he gave him a bow with like enchanted with like True Strike. So he got a plus 20 to hit, so he never missed.
That's bullshit.
And I'm over here jumping through like 6 flaming hoops at once to just get 1 backstab so I can have some decent DPS.
Right. So you can do more than 5 damage.
Yeah. And that killed the whole campaign for me. It's like, I just want to play a rogue and I'm getting punished for it. I get people think dexterity is broken. But I don't really think it is.
As a person who also plays dex-based characters, it's good. It's not broken.
I can see the argument, kind of.
Like, yeah, because there's a lot of things you can do with dexterity.
Well,
but there's an equal amount of stuff that you can do with strength, con, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma.
The best argument I've heard for why people think dex is the strongest stat is because if you're playing something like a rogue, increasing your dex not only increases your damage, it makes you harder to hit.
Yeah.
Which is why a lot of people say it's the most broken stat.
It's the most broken stat for rogues.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, with rogues it increases their damage as well as their AC.
With wizards, it's intelligence. Not only does it increase your damage, it can increase your spell slots and how many spells you know.
Yeah. Like, dexterity is just a good stat because it increases your AC no matter what class you are.
Yeah. Charisma, if you're playing like a bard or a paladin, warlock,
sorcerer,
it's the most broken thing, because not only does it increase your damage, it's also incredible for negotiation.
Yeah. Like, I would argue that either charisma or probably, I don't know, wisdom.
Yeah.
One of those two would be the strongest.
I prefer charisma over wisdom.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Because with charisma, it just affects so many classes for damage-wise. And then it also helps with negotiations and all that shit, and intimidation. And the reason why I argue wisdom is because I don't think this is a thing for D&D, but for Pathfinder with monks.
Oh, the dex plus wisdom to AC?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a thing in D&D.
Yeah, I haven't played monks in D&D, but
they're fun.
Monks are fun.
Monks are the best 1v1 class in the game.
Yeah. And if you build them right, they can be the best army crusher.
Yeah.
But yeah, wisdom is arguably another really broken stat, because for monks, like dexterity, it adds to their AC.
Yeah. another example of something bad I've seen a DM do, which kind of falls under the category of what I just talked about. But I have seen a DM look at one character and allow something that made no fucking sense because the book said that that's how it works. But then the monk in the party had deflect arrow.
Okay.
And with the modifiers he added to it, like on a 1d8 arrow in D&D to where you don't get to add your modifier.
Which is dumb.
Unless the arrow did 19 damage or more, he caught it.
That's dumb.
And if it did 19 damage, he would deflect it with his wrist and only take 1 damage. So, at the point of the campaign they were at, it was physically impossible for the enemies that they were fighting to deal damage with ranged weapons.
Yeah.
And a whole volley of arrows came at him. And he said, well, it doesn't make sense that you can catch them all, so you're going to take damage. And I piped up and I said, but the last time something didn't make sense, you said this is what the book says, so we're going to go with what the book says. I just reread his ability. The book says he catches it if it doesn't do this much damage. Why doesn't he catch them? Regardless if it makes sense or not.
Right.
And he's like, well, because logically it doesn't make sense. If 100 arrows are flying right at you, you can't catch them all. I'm like, okay, well, logically, if 100 arrows are flying right at you, 100 of them cannot hit you. There's not enough space on your body that 100 arrows will hit.
Yeah. Maybe 20?
Yeah. So, him catching 20 arrows, a lot more likely.
Yeah.
Still implausible, but still.
Yeah.
Good things I've seen DMs do. One thing I really like that I do as a DM is I try and do this with all my parties. I let the players know if I introduce something or I do like a side event that they don't like. Let me know and it won't be done again.
Right.
Like, I'm here to make the best story for the players.
Yeah.
So, if there's long monologues and shit like that players don't like, I get rid of it.
Yeah.
Besides one campaign, because I was tired of murder hobos.
Yeah.
So I made every decision matter.
Yeah. And then we stopped doing that one. Because we kind of just stopped doing D&D.
Yeah. We should start that one back up.
We should. One thing I like about good DMs is with you, every decision matters, but let each character make their own decision.
Yeah.
Because in the first Pathfinder group that I was in, Manabit. As you know, he was a bit of a control freak, wanted everything to go well, and me, Emerald, and Chaotic Retard sometimes didn't want to do it that way. We almost always ended up just following the party anyway, because Emerald and Chaotic Retard were the DPS of the group.
Yeah.
And I was the rogue. So I'm kind of needed. Because I'm the scout. Because I had boots that allowed me to walk on walls. and I had gloves that allowed me to see through like 20 feet of whatever material. So, yeah. I also had like the most broken stealth at the time. It was like, I think my stealth score was like plus 20.
Damn.
Yeah, it was insane. But yeah, it was fun because the DM would let us just do whatever, whether it was whether it was a good idea or not. Now I'll start this one for mad DMs. Toy boxes.
Go on.
So, with toy box campaigns, they can either be fun or they can be boring. More often than not, for me, toy box campaigns were boring.
So just because
to be fair, for the people who don't know, toy box campaigns are basically the DM lets you have pretty much whatever you want with no real
drawback,
and no like personal struggle to get it. He just lets you have it to have it.
Which I did a lot of very early on.
Yeah.
And
but like the way you did it was fine because
I would do my best to scale the difficulty.
Yeah.
To where it's not like, oh, you're half dragon, half ogre, and somewhere you got Cthulhu. Okay. Here's a human bandit.
Right.
Or here's a goblin. Which I like toy box campaigns. Because I think that's where I got my creativity for enemies.
Yeah. I like toy box campaigns when they're done well.
Yeah. Very early on, I did that all the time because I just didn't know enough about the game to truly balance.
Right.
And my campaigns were cakewalks. Like at level 1, I had these toy box characters who would take over a town. Like, just murder everything, and the town is theirs. And the campaign became very boring very quickly because there was no real challenge. They took on like Imperial Guards, and the Imperial Guards just kind of dropped.
Right.
And that was my inexperience as a DM, and eventually I got better and I scaled up AEC, I scaled up armor, and I learned very early on as well, my initial thought for an enemy's HP doesn't have to be the final HP that they have. You guys might have seen the Godslaying campaign. I put a few of it up on YouTube and we streamed some of it. Their first god fight, I really didn't know what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I knew that I wanted the shrines as a mechanic because we were a low-level party and fighting gods at a low level isn't fair, so I didn't want the god attacking a lot. But I also wanted like a legitimate reason he was weaker.
Right.
So I made the mechanic to where each god has 4 different shrines. And each shrine holds a percentage of their power. And the first god that they fought was freshly resurrected, so he had maybe 5% of his power.
Mm-hmm.
And it was still a bitch of a fight for these guys. I gave the god a reaction on their turn, so they would shoot a fireball at the shrine. The god would then get a reaction to move in front of the fireball, and it was Asmodeus who grew to such a size that like the fireball would hit him and it couldn't go around to hit the shrine. And for the few hits that they did get on the shrine, I realized like mid-fight, I gave this shrine not enough HP. Because, like, we were on, like, round 4 and they've almost killed it. I'm like, let me add another 200 health on there.
Alright.
And the players actually ended up loving. I actually talked to one of them after. I was like, or once we were done, I was like, what did you guys think of the fight? They were like, that was fucking perfect. Like, it was intense. Some of us got knocked real low. We didn't think we were going to walk out of there. And you were just describing this shrine as it's getting cracked and brittled, but not quite broken.
Right.
And they were like, it was one of the most intense low-level fights we've ever had in D&D. And it ended up working incredibly well because in this sandbox to where I had to make them broken because they were fighting gods. In the last possible fucking moment, I buffed the boss.
Right.
And I think that's something a lot more DMs need to do.
Yeah.
Like, if this is supposed to be either the bar that's set for a boss fight or the final boss and they're just dicking it down, up that HP, up the damage, do whatever you gotta do, make it a challenge.
Yeah.
Don't make it impossible, because if I wanted to be a dick, I would have been like, oh, they're going through this too quick. Let me give 1,000 health to this fucking shrine.
Yeah, no, that would have been bullshit.
Because, like, they were level 5.
Yeah.
They don't have enough spell slots to
No.
do 1,000 points of damage.
No, God, no.
They had a lot of fireball spells. They had a lot of AoE. They picked a bunch of lower level spells that also do a decent amount of damage, so I wasn't worried.
Right.
And hell, you've heard stories of other encounters I've made. The exploding spiders.
Yeah.
That was like the first one I whipped out. That I was like, I'm just gonna make up something random.
Right.
And it went over incredibly well with the 2 people I was playing with. They were, towards the end of it, they were just like, what the fuck?
And then there was fucking Armadillo Man. God.
To this day, I haven't talked to Beetle since that campaign. Kind of. I've talked to him here and there. But I feel like if I just, like, messaged him, what do you think about Armadillo Man? For those confused, I made were armadillos. And they hit incredibly hard, had an incredible amount of defense, and were just bitches to beat.
Yeah. There were like 5 of us, by the way. There were like 5 or 6 of us.
And how Armadillo Man would work was it would run up to you, grapple you, slap you onto its back, and then start rolling away, slamming you on the ground repeatedly. Which the hardest part about that was determining how many times they slammed you. So I decided to just roll a d6. And that was how many feet they traveled by times 10.
Yeah.
And every 10 feet they traveled, they slammed you once. So at worst, you were taking 2d8.
Yeah.
Well, at best, you were taking 2d8.
Yeah.
At worst, you were taking 12d8. Poor rogue.
Yeah. Yeah. This is why I don't like Armadillo Man. I got hit with that 3 times as the rogue with pitiful health. I got knocked down to 1 HP 3 separate times. And the healer healed me 3 separate times.
That's something I do like that I do. If you guys don't have a healer, and especially with how I make enemies, I give you a healer.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're gonna need it. You were fools not to make one, but I'm not gonna punish you.
And like, yeah, I had fun with it. It was a lot of fun. But god damn, I got targeted and I wasn't even being targeted.
It was just kind of like there was 7 opponents.
Yeah, it got so bad I jumped into a tree so that they couldn't hit me, and then they started banging on the tree.
And at that point, like, I wasn't gonna have them hit you again.
Yeah.
I was just messing with you.
Yeah.
The best thing that my enemies also adapt.
Yeah, I noticed that real quick.
Which I don't think enough DMs do. Because we've all been, if you're still watching this, you are a D&D player. So
thank you for staying with us for this long. Like, goddamn.
Yeah, this is a long video, but DMs I knew was gonna be the longest bit. We should have done that first. And
probably should have, but we didn't because.
And it's too late now. We're an hour and 21 minutes in.
Yep.
But if you're a D&D player, you definitely know that players adapt to the situation and they will exploit shit.
Oh yeah. Hell yeah.
And if you're using a book creature only by the book, once they find what they can exploit, most creatures don't have anything to counter that, and it kind of, as a DM, kills the encounter.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, there's no longer a threat. So, Mr. Fugglesby was... What the fuck was he?
In that one?
Yeah. Nephilim.
Yeah, he was a Nephilim.
He was a Nephilim, so he had wings. So he flied high enough that they couldn't reach him. He would swoop down, attack, and stay at that height. I let him do that for 2 turns without touching the ground. And I had 3 armadillos left. 2 of them got into like a shock put position as the 3rd one rolled aggressively at them. And they just shot him into the air, grabbed onto the ankles of Mr. Fugglesby, spun, and ground slammed him onto the ground.
Oh, that felt so good when that happened. Oh, I loved that.
And I think that's why I love the idea of enemies adapting.
Yeah.
When I originally created the Were Armadillos, did I ever think they were going to do that? Hell no. Was it the funniest fucking thing when it happened? Hell yes.
Oh, hell yeah. It was hilarious.
He didn't die. He took big damage.
He took big damage, but he got nowhere near as hurt as I did.
Yeah, you were knocked to 1 HP 3 turns in a row.
Yeah, that was hell.
The healer was almost out of healing spells just from healing you.
Yeah. Like, I think V had 1 or 2 more?
Yeah, because he used one on Fugglesby. Because, to be fair, like, I made that attack a little bit more potent. The distance they traveled with you didn't matter. That was just a straight 6d6. Fireball level.
That's fair.
Some meh things I've seen. I don't know. To me, it's really hard to be a meh DM. You're either good or you're bad, and if you're bad, you're only bad for now.
Yeah.
You can always get better.
Yeah.
Another thing I really like with DMs is I like when they're transparent on a few things. The best example I can think of right now is, again, that Discord campaign I was running. I put them in a room to where there was 5 doors, and I gave them an aura sense. That would basically tell them the level of the evil in each area.
Yeah.
And they looked at the doors and realized that from door 1 to 5, it increasingly got more evil. And I stopped the campaign for a moment and I went, hey guys, real talk. I only had enough time before we started to plan out what I wanted for doors 1 through 4. I did not have enough time to plan out door 5. So I don't care which door you pick, just please don't pick door 5. I have nothing planned and I don't want to just pull something out of my ass. I got a resounding okay. Their next decision was to go through door 5. They were level 6.
They were met with a pit fiend.
I threw a pit fiend in that fucking room.
Oh, God. I've heard this story so many times now, and every time it's still so funny.
And that's probably a negative on my end as a DM. I shouldn't get salty and throw something I know they can't beat.
To be fair, you gave them ample warning.
Yeah, I was like, dude, I don't want to pull something out of my ass, so I threw a pit fiend in there.
You spent a good 5 minutes just letting them know, hey, I don't have anything planned. Don't go through that door. They're all just like, okay, and immediately went through the door.
Like, it was great.
That's just the petty in me coming out, but fuck them.
That was great. Because only one person got past the fear aura. So he's sitting there trying to solo a pit fiend. 1 round knocked to 1 HP.
Yeah.
And right when I knew that they had felt the frustration I had just experienced is when I saved them from the pit fiend. And that was the moment that the guy who was 1v1ing the pit fiend got knocked to 1 HP and just yells out, yo, fuck Reaper.
Oh, God.
And at that moment, the cleric's god came down and smited the pit fiend and healed him back to full.
Right.
So I was nice in the end. It's actually really great because I think we've only listed like 2 ways you can be bad as a DM.
Yeah.
And it's...
there is a way you could be mad as a DM, and that's with Toy Box, but
yeah,
it really just depends on how much experience you have.
Yeah, like I say, like with our examples, if you're gonna do a Toy Box, you have to make your own enemies.
Yeah. Either make your own enemies or scale the enemies up.
Yeah.
When I was doing a campaign with Emerald, I was DMing. I actually had to scale down the enemies that I was using a little bit because, yeah, they had really low health, but their attacks were so high damage that they would just like one-shot Emerald or I.
Yeah. Well,
so what I ended up doing was I lowered their damage a little bit. I upped their health so that the fights would actually last a while, but Emerald nor I would get one shot.
The only other way I've experienced that I think is bad DMing is... So we had a character in a party that picked a broken race, didn't even pick a class because the race was just way too strong.
Oh, cool. That's always fun.
And it got like its own unique casting currency, which was in a pool of 100. And
this sounds very familiar to me, but that's because of Chaotic Retard.
And with this unique casting for every 1 point he spent, he could spend any amount they wanted, and it would create like a laser beam.
Okay.
That for every point invested into it, he got to roll another d6. So, the DM, knowing that we had this, made incredibly healthy enemies.
Right.
Which I can understand.
Yeah, because, like, you gotta balance out the one in the party, but at the same time,
the rest of us couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
So what ended up happening was we were thrown into these encounters to where, without what we then called the Alpha Strike, we couldn't beat the encounter.
Mm-hmm.
And then the DM got upset at us that we were using the Alpha Strike. So then he upped the health by like 10 times the amount. So we went from things with like 500 health to where the Alpha Strike was really the only option because we were like level 1 through 3.
Yeah.
To where now we're fighting things with 5,000 health.
To where even the Alpha Strike isn't gonna help.
The Alpha Strike, on its best roll, did, let's see, 3,000?
Yeah.
And that's a perfect roll.
Yeah.
All 100 dice at 6. And that left 2,000 health that the cleric, the standard fighter, and the standard rogue had to go through.
Mm-hmm.
Because the fourth member had no way of physically attacking and only had his mana, which was the Alpha Striker.
Yeah.
So he popped all 100, at best knocked it down to 2,000 health. And then the other 3 had to try and dish out 2,000 health without dying. Because these things hit hard too.
Obviously.
So it was... And that's when we quit that campaign. Because...
Yeah, that's a bad DM on a player's part.
Yeah, like... The players at that point were put into a situation to where it's impossible to win.
Yeah. Like, yeah, the player is to blame, but the DM is also to blame because you don't get upset at your players for relying on someone when he's the only one that can do anything.
But with that, we have been going for over an hour and 30 minutes.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot more we can say about DMs.
Oh yeah, there's a lot more, but we can save that. And another thing I would actually like to talk about is the Odyssey that I have with Emerald and Sapphire.
Okay,
in a different video because I would like to have Emerald here for that.
Yeah, the very final thing I'll say about DMing before we go, and this is just a misconception from a lot of new players. Damn it, now I blanked on his name. There is a DM that runs Critical Role.
Matt Mercer?
There we go. Matt Mercer. And there are a lot of new players that think Matt Mercer is like the pinnacle of DMing. And there's no such thing.
No, there's no pinnacle.
Like...
He's just a good DM.
Yeah. Watch other DMs, grab things that you like, create your own style.
Matt Mercer's honestly probably one of the greats.
Yeah.
But he's not the pinnacle. No one is the pinnacle.
That's the meh. The meh is when you try to recreate what somebody else does.
Which is boring.
Yeah.
Because either you've already seen it,
or it
the
doesn't.
DM has talked to you enough about it that you immediately recognize it.
Something I grabbed from Acquisition Incorporated.
Yeah.
Was very early on DMing, we would get like sidetracked talking.
Oh yeah.
For like 3 hours out of the 4-hour session.
Yeah.
I showed a bunch of my friends Acquisition Incorporated. I was like, this is what I want to do. If there's a side joke, it lasts 5 minutes and we're back in the action.
Yeah.
And like, if we're joking and laughing in character, fuck it.
Yeah.
But with that, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Ruby, it's been a pleasure as always.
As always.
And we will talk to you guys next time.
Woo!